Hi, I would like to discuss Kant on happiness. Now, in this, I'm talking mostly about his critique of practical reason, and I did a presentation on this, and I'm still writing a term paper about this, and I'm comparing his idea of happiness compared to other ideas of happiness and the ethical theories that correspond to Kant's idea of happiness. Because Kant has an idea of happiness, as does he have a big, well-known ethical theory, but he also then there's also a bunch of other different ideas of happiness which have a corresponding ethical theory with it. So, for example, we have Aristotle. We have his idea of happiness and his idea of a virtue ethic, and then we have Epicurus. We have his idea. He has a sort of a hedonist type of thing, but it's not in like the normal hedonist. It's more self-sufficiency and more picking and choosing and sorting between all your pleasures and displeasures and stuff like that. So we have Epicurus, and we have Epictetus, as well as we have other Stoics and other people in that post Aristotle and post Plato era, and also we have Mill and we have Bentham, which are the utilitarians, which have their ethical theory based on utility, and who talk about happiness based on pleasures for the most part. And basically, what I'm doing in this term paper is I'm going to discuss various ethical theories and their corresponding idea of happiness, as well as how Kant's idea of happiness measures up to the rest of them. And I guess today I wanted to get into Kant's idea of happiness, because Kant, in the critique of practical reason, he has this idea of the highest good, or summum bonum, which is the highest possible good that you can possibly have in a person. Now, what this basically is the highest good. Is it has to do with the person being moral and the person being happy as well. So for the person to be of the highest good, you have to be moral as well as be incredibly happy. That's what you have to do. You have to be moral and you have to be happy. Now, morality has to do with the supreme principle of morality, or the categorical imperative, which we have the formula of the universal law, the formula of humanity, and the law-giving formula of autonomy. And what this does is this it has moral commands. It commands you to do certain things regardless of whatever your situation is. This is not hypothetical. It's categorical. You have to do this because that's what the will, I guess. The reason that one has to do this is because we are a free and rational being who always wants desire. We always have desire, and we always want to fulfill our desire. But then we have autonomy, which is our capacity to our capacity to fulfill the will on other things besides desire. And we can ground the will, and if we can ground the will on other things besides desire, then we can furnish practical laws out of that. And this is basically what the idea of morality for Kant is. Now, I can go into this so much, and I have already on this channel. I've gone into it quite a bit, and that's what morality is. And this is a moral absolute, where it's sort of a metaphysical ethics, where there's moral absolutes where you have to do things. You have to do this regardless, just because it's a ought. Not because it will make you happy, or for no other reason whatsoever. And what Kant says is that if you try to be happy, if you seek happiness and seek to be happy and look for things that will make you happy, then you will not be happy at all. You'll be miserable. But Kant equates morality with, he doesn't equate morality with happiness, but the highest good, the summum bonum, has to do with morality and happiness being in two equal spots. Because in the summum bonum we have two compartments. We have two spots. We have morality and we have happiness. Now, the highest good is when one is happy and when one is moral at the same time. The happiest you can be and the most moral you can be is the summum bonum. That's what it is. But Kant says that that morality does not give happiness, and happiness doesn't give morality. So you can't just seek happiness and then maybe find happiness for a while and be moral at the same time, just out of being happy. It doesn't work that way. And just because you're moral doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. That's why the highest good is that which is you being entirely as moral as you can be, and as happy as you can be. So that's what the summum bonum is. Now, thus you can't seek happiness and find it. You can't, you have to find happiness in a different way. And happiness can come from morality. It can come from you seeking your ought. And the big thing I want to discuss here is his objections. He has objections. Kant has objections. He has objections that people might say that he throws out happiness altogether in the critique of practical reason and the metaphysics of morals, as well as the groundwork. And it's not true. He doesn't throw it out. He doesn't cast it out at all. What he does is he sort of makes it. He's kind of seems to make it a lesser priority, even though it's equal priority to morality. Because if you're not happy, then you're not going to, be as moral as you would otherwise. But it seems like he puts morality entirely high above happiness, but he doesn't really. He sort of equates them in this idea of highest good, or summum bonum. He equates them together and makes that is what creates a highest good. So he doesn't really toss happiness aside. He makes happiness a definite priority. So that's one objection. And another thing is that, one thing is that he's objected that he's a hedonist, and that's mostly because he bases things off of pleasure, and he says that things have nothing to do with pleasure, and happiness doesn't have anything to do with pleasure or being your desires. And he's by him saying that the will, and him saying that autonomy is the will being grounded in something other than your desires. So That's basically what Kant's idea of happiness is. And it seems to be sort of, a messy sort of thing, but it's kind of, it is not too bad. So it's sort of something to think about. So I don't know if any of you have read Mill or Bentham or Epicurus or any people like that, but what are your thoughts on his idea of happiness? Do you think it has anything to do with morality? Do you think that you can find happiness by looking for happiness, or I don't know? What are your thoughts? Let me know if you like. Where is my